Suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. Hope you guys having a suavelous day.
Yeah, and with that, let's commence the pay.
Okay, I'm so suavelous, you so suavelous.
Together we can fix the trauma that's befalling us.
Divine social interactions remains marvelous.
Mind-blowing, suavelicious talk, higher consciousness. But think, let not your hearts be troubled, Dr. Brother Suave.
Divine light give you double.
Suave evening. This is Dr. Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, creator, and host of Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. I'm so excited tonight. I'm so excited about this whole month. Listen, we're going to be having a whole month, a whole series of life after the gridiron and professional sports. We're going to be kicking off this series with Miami's own superstar, hero, Northwestern graduate, University of Miami great, Hall of Famer, University of Miami Hall of Famer, Denver Bronco, businessman, professional sports agent. Man, listen, this month we're going to have an outstanding time sharing with former professional athletes, former college greats, as they share their stories with overcoming journeys of success, being regular people, being able to give back to the community and everything. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited because we're going to have a real great series this month. We're going to be sharing some real stories, matters of the heart. But before we do any of that, we just want to thank God for giving us another day to see that, another day that we've never seen before, and another day to get it right. And I appreciate his grace. I appreciate his compassion. I'm happy that I'm able to be on this broadcast and share this information, being able each and every week to have a mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening experience. So tonight we're going to be kicking off with a very special guest. Tell you a little bit about this king here. So here, again, he's a Miami Northwestern graduate, a University of Miami Hall of Famer, a former Denver Broncos, businessman, professional sports agent. But this brother is not just all those. He's a great father, a great man, a great son, great husband, great friend. So without further ado, let's welcome the wonderful, the king of Miami, in my opinion, Mr. Melvin Bratton.
What's up, fam? Suave, what's happening, man?
What's going on, brother?
Man,
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you for gracing us.
Man, I appreciate it, man. That intro, man. I'm gonna have to carry you around the country with me like a rapper. And so you bring me on stage, and you my hype man right there, man. You got me right there.
Yeah.
Like, who is that dude right there? I want to meet him too.
Yeah, man. Thank you, bro. I just, one thing, man, you guys don't know, man. It's growing up, man, and the 305, man, we always have a love for each other, man. And every time I run to this brother, one of them always asks about his father. Two of them ask him how he's doing. He's gonna always be pleasant. I remember a couple of months ago, last year, here we are in Miami at the same time we run to what's the brother name? Got the restaurant over there in Carol City, Miami Gardens.
It
used to be
the Jamaican spot. Lorna's. Yeah.
I said the brother had slimmed up, trimmed up, looking lean, mean, looking
trying
like a sex machine
back.
around here.
Trying to bring sexy back, backwalking bow-legged.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I'm happy that we able to share and talk about tonight. So I'm happy. So listen, tonight we just gonna have our dialogue and just talk about a few things, and just share your life, a few things. But I want to just jump into it, because I just wanted to know. So when, as a kid, when did you first have your dreams about aspirations about being in the NFL? Because you know how Miami is. I don't know who you played for in Little League, but I played for Opelika, and every time we played any teams in the city, we always got rocked. Tecose used to beat us down, and they was the sorriest team in the league, and we won every game except when we played them. They beat us twice. So
let me add to that. A close friend of mine, he's watching this podcast, named Mark Irvin. Now, Mark Irvin was my linebacker at Miami Northwestern. but he grew up at Lake Lucerne. So right where Trick Daddy Restaurant is, down that road in the back then, it was no houses or nothing.
Yes.
And they had a football field with all
The bottom.
rocks and bricks, right?
Mhm.
So I played at Northwest Boys Club, and we went back there. Mark them team, man, they when we beat them, you're gonna lose the rock fight because they throwing at the buses and everything. They rock the crap out of us. So old Bugsy right now, I know he laughing right now, but it's true. They are sore losers. Those jokers are sore losers.
Yes. So we grew up there. They go, you may win the game, but you're gonna get rocked.
You gonna get rocked. So it's funny when you said you're getting rocked. Lake Lucerne was known for that. So anytime Northwest Boys Club come up in there, we keep our helmets, our mouthpiece on, leaving the game on the bus.
Yes. So I didn't know you played for Northwest Boys Club. Which team though? The green team or the blue team?
No, we have a one back there. So Mr. Jesse Holt, saying God bless the dead. That's who started me in the football and running track. So the Northwest Express Track Club with Alan Holt, Glenn Holt, Ali.
Yep, Glenn, Alan, yep.
Those my brothers, man. We started, we was the original 13 that started Northwest Express Track Club, which now has probably over 400 kids in 2 locations from my understanding. So we were the kids that Mr. Holt used to come pick us up on his convertible. We had a yellow broke down, I know it was a Malibu, whatever, not broke down, but we used to pile like 8 to 10 kids in the car. It wasn't legal back then. And we hanging off the car. We had the funnest, best time ever. And we'd go to practice. He'll come pick all the kids up, and then he'll drop us all back home, off at home. So that's what started my career as far as Northwest Express Track Club and Northwest Boys Club.
And now to get off topic, was Rabbit on y'all team?
Rabbit, that's my little bro. Rabbit actually was a youngin as well upon us. And it's crazy, but I'll give you a story as we talk about the progress going to high school. Story, the coach Roger Coffey, God bless the dead, also a legendary coach at Northwestern. Him and Coach Ford, who's homegrown as a home to glory as well. They came and recruited me, Suave, at the boys club. I'm running around at the boys club, and I see the 2 grown men with gold shirts on. So they stopped one of the other kids and say, "We're looking for Melvin Bratton." I overheard it. I'm like, "What these grown men?" I'm looking crazy. Like, what do you do for the staff me up? What was going on? So I'd never been recruited before. I didn't understand the process. So they heard what I was doing over there as far as scoring touchdowns and running, doing running up for all those yards. So those 2, they approached me and said, "We want to talk to you." I'm like, "Yes, sir. How you doing?" He said, "We want to want you to come to Miami Northwestern." I'm like, "Okay," but I lived in Central District. All right. Now, mind you, I'm on 119th Street and 17th Avenue, and I went to Westview Middle School.
Yeah, I went to Westview.
You went to Westview? Okay, yeah. I started at
my cousin Ron was telling me to tell you hi.
Okay, tell Ron what's up. Yeah, I started at Horace Mann, then we moved, but like me and Marvin Dixon always say, my mama caught the number and moved north and bought a house. And she gonna kill me. She gonna kill me. She hear about that. But so they approached me and bought me a T-shirt. And that's my first access. I mean, being recruited. I didn't know nothing about nothing. So I went home. I said, "Mom," telling my dad the same thing. Like, "Listen, these people want me to come to Northwestern." My mom graduated from the West. All my family, we Bulls for life. I mean, my whole history, all my family blue and gold. But I was actually going, I was in Central District. So how Coach Coffey them got me out of there, Central didn't have a ninth grade. Northwestern did.
Yes.
So I left Westview in January of my 9th grade year and got me in, and I started running track at the West early in January in 9th grade. So the rest is history.
Yes. Great history. Great history, man. It's just funny, as we talk, I'm like, man, we all for years, because I was at Westview and then Ron was at Westview and and we don't have to say, we're not gonna go into it, but then when I think about Rabbit.
That's my little bro right there.
Yes. So I'm like, yo, look, Fred Jones, who ran track for Central?
Yeah, FJ.
That's him. He says, don't forget about Westview Junior. That was him just coming on. He's on tonight watching.
All right, Freddie J, what up, bro?
Freddie J.
It's a lot of history, man, that goes on. And
Yes.
I got a story for you too, how the number 5 was birthed. So we'll touch base on that as we go through this podcast. Yes.
So let's talk about your days at the West. Again,
woo.
The West was a school. Yeah.
Well, let me say this. Jimmy Johnson has a book that's getting ready to come out called Swagger. It's going to drop in October, November.
Yes.
Okay. let's rewind. A lot of people don't realize Tarbert Bain and myself, Tarbert Bain, my best friend, college
Yeah.
roommate, we actually took the inner city, you know what I'm saying, the mindset of Carol City, Northwestern, Edison, Jackson, that inner city, those schools within a 5-10 mile radius of each other. You know, we hated each other on the football field, but we all got along. You
Yeah.
know, we'll go to the McDonald's on 7th Avenue, meet Central girls and try to pull their girlfriends. And then we'll go to Jackson, Conktown, over there across the street from there, try to get their girls over there. And so Edison, you know, we kept the Edison girls kind of quiet. They were too close to us like that. And we might get jammed up back there. So we do that. But the camaraderie of us and our mindset, we hated to lose, especially in a rivalry game. Jackson, the Soul Bowl was very competitive. Carol City, the
Yes.
first game was very competitive. So our mindset, we took that mindset to the University of Miami. The reason why the U got the swag, the reason why Jimmy Johnson's writing that book right now, he learned how to do it the Miami way. Everybody
Yes.
give Alonzo Highsmith and myself credit for us changing the U. No, it's the inner city, the Mark Irvins of the world, you know what I'm saying, the Kevin Finney's of the world,
Yeah.
you know, the Dawkins and Chisholms. I mean, you know, Dewey Knights, you know what I'm saying, all those guys right there.
Doing that.
That whole we fought each other, you know what I'm saying, on the field, and we felt like we could never out of a game. And no matter what the score is, we're gonna continue to compete. So
Yeah.
Bain and I took that mindset to that. Jerome Brown, we recruited Jerome Brown. When Jerome Brown came out Brooksville, Florida,
Yeah.
Fernando, we recruited Jerome and we took him in the hood. We took him to 8600 Big Daddies. We took him to Strawberry.
Introduce some good Big Daddies.
Inferno. We took him to the Inferno. So we took and the top recruits, they would give them to me and Bain. And we showed them a great time and we closed. We never lost a top recruit. So, but we took him to the Miami mindset. The university is a whole different island down there. We went to school there and played football, but we hung in the city on 15th, you know what I'm saying, in the neighborhood. We would go back and see, you know, all the fellas, Convertible Bert, Big Nate, you know what I'm saying, you name it, Midnight. All those are family, man. They are diehard Canes till today. Big Nate called me, well, he's Little Nate now. He called me on, and somebody fumble ball, a punt return, and why this, they call cussing. They're still embedded to Miami, University of Miami football.
Yeah.
And we lost that when we started losing these kids to Alabama.
Yes.
That hurt me to see 4 kids started in the secondary at Alabama, you know what I'm saying? And now these kids going all over the different country, Georgia, getting pulled from all these different areas. That's a disrespect to us. So,
yeah,
but you know, we can get into Mario's recruiting and Highsmith being back home. We get ready to change that and get that mindset back to where it was. That Dade County football, you stay home, let your mama go down the street instead of getting on a plane, connect them through Atlanta to go see you play.
So Highsmith's back home now?
Yes, he's a general manager.
He was working at Cleveland, right?
Seattle.
Okay,
Cleveland and Seattle.
Yeah.
So he's back home.
Oh,
so
that's great.
yeah, we get ready to turn that mindset. Hopefully, like we have a great showing at Texas A&M. We're a couple years away, but I think that, you know, we're on the right track mentally.
Yeah. I did notice, you know, losing a lot of, especially when a lot of kids who went to what do you call St. Thomas, and then they end up going to Bama, you know. So yeah. So we bringing all that talent back home.
Yeah, we're keeping it home.
Yeah. So man, that's great, and it just, you know, it reminds you of that camaraderie, you know, and the competition. That's why I think it's a documentary. Not a documentary, it was a young man being interviewed. I don't know what school he was from Miami, but he was saying why, because, you know, remember football was before school, during school, and after school until the lights went off. You know,
no other way.
That's just how it was back home. And so so some of the questions I wanted to ask you, and this is like a personal thing, because a lot of times people careers get sidetracked when they have injuries. And then I look at your injury, and I look at my frat brother Willis, and then I think about Frank Gore. And you remember Frank Gore was that true freshman, then he got hurt, then he got hurt again, and the things that go through what was going through his mind was probably the same things went through your mind, but he somehow, based on technology, he got a second and third chance, where you had pretty much the same injury, and you still got drafted, but it significantly impacted your career, you believe? Or no?
Yeah, no, in fact, we wasn't, technology wasn't where it is when those, with Frank Gore and my little brother, I call him little brother, Willis McGahee, I got love for him. When they came, you know, around, technology is a whole lot different. I actually went through like 6 or 7 surgeries on my left knee to really try to figure it out, because Dr. John Uribe, who's a great doctor, he's a Dolphins doctor right now with the Miami Dolphins. Technology wasn't that sophisticated, is the word I'm looking for. So I went through a year of turmoil. I mean, I quit literally probably about 5 or 6 times and really gave it up. But with my mom, saying her mindset is like, no, we ain't no quitters. No, we weren't raised like that. So it kept me the fire in it. So I went through the mental mindset. I saying to feel like, I would never get back on the field again. And when I was blessed to come back around, the Dolphins drafted me coming out on crutches in the 6th round. I didn't sign a contract with them. So if you don't sign an NFL contract, you go into that following year, and then you go back into the draft pool. So I went through the process twice, not knowing, but the money that they was offering me, I was like, I had a Lloyd's of London policy for $1 million. So I was blessed to have that as leverage to start my life off, tax-free in the 80s with a meal ticket. I was good. I was good. So I didn't have to really rush and sign to do something drastic. And at the time, the base salaries were $75,000 for the NFL.
Yeah.
And that really wasn't, comparison to have a meal, tax-free.
Yeah.
I would have been set, in back then, So, but what I did, I love the game so much. I wanted to play on Sundays. That's how I became an agent. My agent at the time was Robert Fraley, who got killed in a plane crash with Payne Stewart. He's the golfer. When they had that crash years ago, Robert was my agent. Robert is the reason why I became a sports agent, because I navigated and negotiated the whole entire my steps. And I just did it, being from the neighborhood, just like, look, that's common sense. So I told him, hey, look, we're gonna do this. Let's fight the teams with grass fields, because back then, the turf wasn't good at all where it is right now.
It's a whole different game.
Right, it's playing on the street. So I said, listen, let's invite the teams with grass fields, and San Fran was one, and we'll do a private workout, and then whoever likes me, draft me then. That way, my knees are sustained and be able to play. So he said, we was at lunch, and then we sitting there talking. He said, how do you know all this? I said, really God, blessed me with giving me those answers. So I said, he told me at the time at that table, he said, if you stop playing the game, don't you ever become an agent, you're going to put me out of business. You can't tell no brother from Liberty City for the hood, like, what not to do.
Can't stop, won't stop.
That microwaved me from that point on to want to be in his profession. And that's why I end up, where I am now, as far as being representing these players and giving it to them raw and staying forward with them,
Yeah. And the one thing about it is, and this is this testimony to your greatness, because think about it, in a time playing running back, a time without the technology, still get drafted and still was productive. So it shows how great you are, because what you had to use and what you had to deal with and still made it to the league, because you know how it is in Miami, everybody want to make it, and you made it with those injuries. That shows how talented you are.
Appreciate it.
But one thing I have to ask you, 6th round, being projected as a first rounder, how did that affect you psychologically when that injury came? What was going through your head? Because you was projected first rounder. You was the man,
It's funny you say that. Before that game, I don't know if I know you probably don't remember this, but I did with Brian Gumble, Good Morning America. And Brian Gumble was the host. And right before the game, 2 days before, we went live at 6 a.m. in the morning. I came with a business suit on. And they had me and they had Dante, I can't think of Dante, the linebacker for Oklahoma. They had us both on the set like this. So I'm sitting there and not being arrogant or brash, but everybody know me, saying, I'm going to put some clothes on. I love to dress like you. You'll say you always be suave. And that's where you got the suave name from. I see you style. I see you with the bow ties, how you rock. So you Gucci. So what I did was I went and had a briefcase and I had my suit on. So Brian Gumble said, Mr. Bratton, it's 5, 6 in the morning. You pretty sharp. Where you going? He said, I said, well, listen, this is a business for me. This next game, this game, not knowing Tampa Bay had came to me before the game, before the national championship game, when I blew my knee out. They had told my agent and me, they was taking me with the 4th pick of that draft. So my mindset, being from the neighborhood, being from Miami, I'm like, look, I done made it. You know what I'm saying? I done made it. So I just got to get by this game. Yeah. And basically, I was going number 4. We had started negotiations before the game. we had already started. I think it was a 5-year deal. So I knew mentally I couldn't reveal it to the world because, you know, it was violating, but we had started talks. So when that happened, I hit that ground, and when I heard it and pop, you know what I'm saying? When I'm laying there, I'm like, Lord, no, like this, you know, just that dream just totally went out the window for that moment. But you know what? God took me through that for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I went through my trials, tribulations. I went through a lot, you know what I'm saying, to overcome and never gave up, you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't raised like that. And then
Yeah.
being from the crib, we ain't no quitters, no matter what. You know what I'm
No.
saying? Yeah. So
No.
our mindset, we drank a different water, from the women to the men to anybody. We don't give up. We feel like we the best thing ever happened. And our mindset, I felt like, I don't care if I'm hurt or not, I'm still the best back in that draft. So I end up, you know, rehabbing and going through the whole process. But, you know, I had to take another turn. But if I had to do it over again, and I spoke that, you got to be careful what you speak. When I gave a speech before the pregame, I said, if I have to give up anything to win this game, a leg, an arm, or whatever, let's win. And I spoke that. And guess what? I gave the leg to win. I had my best game, 9 catches, over 100 some yards, receiving, had the Orange Bowl record in that, and the touchdown opening drive. So, you know, be careful what you speak, but if I had to do it over again, I'll do it the same way. I mean, to be the competitor that we are, how we think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely great. I'm glad you share that. So what we're gonna do, as I mentioned earlier, you have guess one of the persons on Nina Justice. She says, "What are you doing now?" Nina, we'll go into that as we continue. Just stay tuned. But right now, we're going to go into a commercial break, and we'll be right back with Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. All right, and we're back with Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, our very special guest, Mr. Melvin Bratton. So listen, you had some people were saying they fell in love with guys like you when it's talking about your character and the ability to press forward. And people always admire you, you know, because they didn't admire you just for an athlete, but admire you because of the person who you are. So tell me a little bit how you feel when people just look at you as more than just an athlete. Because, man, the things you do for these kids, our community, and I mean, no matter where you at, you highly respected.
Well, one of the things that I learned, you know, you can be, you know, I would never say the word worship because we're only, you know, we worship Jesus, you know what I'm saying, Christ. But one of the things I vow, you know, I never ignore a kid or individual or player or person who may see me or greet me. You know, like I go to Top Knot sometime when I'm home at the cigar spot, you know, Rob Vereen and Tyrone, you know, I sit there with them at the table all the time. Mm-hmm. And Rob Vereen said something to me. He said, man, how do you deal with that on daily, everybody coming to, but you take time to embrace, you talk to everybody, you dap everybody up, you offer them a drink or whatever. How do you do that? Do they get on your nerves? I looked at Rod, I said, no, these people supported me through thick and thin, my trials, my tribulations. And when I was up, when I'm down, you're gonna have your haters, but I don't even embrace haters in my spirit. So our thing is, I treat people how I want to be treated. So I don't feel like I'm high society. I don't get arrogant, whatever, because I don't been on that pedestal before. And then when you flat on your face, those people still show me love in Dade County throughout, even to today. And I didn't make it, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the guys did. I'm not bitter or angry, but I don't walk around with arrogance. That's just not in my nature. Where I was raised, my mom, my family. So I treat people how I want to be treated. So I'm always going to be 100, and I'll stop and talk to everybody. I'll tell you a quick story. We had lost a big game, and I don't know what game it was. It was at home, and I think Testaverde had walked by. I was always the last one to leave. Me, Mike Irvin, and Vinny Testaverde. So doing interviews. So as I come out, this man was standing there. It was 3 kids were standing there waiting for autographs. And we don't got beat, you know what I'm saying? I think we dropped in the polls and the whole deal, but all the other players were frustrated, they didn't want to talk to anybody, they just walked by. I stopped and I signed autographs, talked to the kids, took pictures, the whole deal. And that dude was standing there watching. It was a big time, he was a multi-billionaire. Because we know no billionaires back there. We're no billionaires back there, but billionaires been birthed everywhere in Miami down. Yeah. So probably about a month later, I'm at the UM basketball game. And legally, I can say this now, but back then I couldn't. I'm standing on the wall watching a UM basketball game. This man walked up to me. He said, "Mr. Bratton, you don't know me." He said, "But I really appreciate you taking time. You made my kids' day. They cherish you. They got you on the wall. There's a picture that you took with them, whatever." He said, "That was classy for you to do that." And he shook my hand. And I'm from the hood. I look up. I thought it was a business card. I said, "Thank you, sir." It was $100. It was two $100 bills, and he walked away. And I looked. I like, man, what like that? So I got broke. About another 2 weeks later, I still on that same wall waiting him to come back around. He never showed up no more.
Hanging in the spot like a cat.
I'm like, man, where he at? Where he at? And I need you, homie. I need you. But then it wasn't about money, but it showed me how you touch people's lives. You never know that one individual that you may touch that day. And that's why I vow to continue to be me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Freddie J said you always showed love.
My dog. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, homie.
And he is always like that. I remember one time me and Basil was eating. You remember that time we was somewhere in Atlanta? It was like about 10 cats from the U. And we had just looked. You remember all of that nice picture? It was me, Basil. What's the dude? He played for Seattle, but it was just so many people, and we all ran to each other. What's the name of that restaurant? It's a bar with what football games? Not too far from. I can't remember. But nevertheless, you always been a person who always showed love. Even though you probably had your time, but you just took the time out. We did a couple of pictures and just shared love, and so I always appreciated that. I appreciate that. What I don't appreciate is why didn't you play for the Dolphins?
Well, I mean, me and Don Shula, I was crazy back then listening to Talbot Bain and Alonzo Highsmith. The Dolphins drafted me as a hurt player, all right, in the sixth round. So, like I said, I had the $1 million insurance policy. So these clowns in the background, I'm talking to the reporter of the Miami Herald. So they said, "How did you feel after you just got drafted?" They called after the draft. So these clowns, I'm listening to them. Tell them you don't care. You ain't signing for that little bit of money. You ain't taking no 6th round money. I blurred out, "I ain't signing for those money. I need 1st round money." Listen to these clowns in the back here. I'm screaming that to the reporter. So now the whole front page of the paper, Bratton says he's not signing unless he get 1st round money. Listen to these crazies right here. And I'm sitting there like, it started a whole, war. So me and Don Shula, and Shula has basically he went at me in the papers as well. We ended up being close about it. We laugh about it. But but being young and not really knowing, you create certain drama that you don't need to really create. Yeah. So anyway, it never worked out because contractual wise, I felt like if I come back on the field, health wise, let's tear that contract up and being able to. So the negotiation in me came out then. So that's when I became a negotiator in a sense like that. That was birthed and born to what I'm doing today. So this me and Shula went back and forth, saying on that, and it didn't work out. And that's how Sammy Smith got drafted, because
Sammy Smith.
The night before the draft that following year,
man-child.
I didn't take the offer that they had on the table. I told them, kiss the baby. I ain't doing it. So whatever. Being stubborn, you know what I'm saying, and not, young and naive, not know. But it have worked out, you know what I'm saying. It could have worked out either way, but I'm glad I went to the path, because I started as a rookie in the Super Bowl. Me and Bobby Humphrey was the first dual running backs to be rookies to start in the Super Bowl, and we got beat by the 49ers. But Suave, to come through that tunnel that in New Orleans, even though we got beat 55-10, to come to that tunnel, it was worth more than $1 million. I forfeited $1 million to be on the active rosters. I gave it up, but I tell people I had to do it again. I did the same, because I made it back on the field, which people say I would never make it.
I mean, as you tell your story, it's many blessings, because you still was able to play in the league. That's a dream that a lot of us wanted to do. In addition to, you didn't get blackballed by one of the greatest coaches in history, because and then you was able to play in the Super Bowl. You got a national championship. I mean, and you're doing great things. So, I mean, like, I would say the same thing. If I had to do it again, I'd do it just like that, because it's so many things you able to experience, and a lot of people don't get a chance to experience those things. And so I want to just give a special shout out for those who I saw some comments: Nina Justice, my mentor, Brother Wally, my cousin Sabrina, Kenny Robb, Freddie J, a few others. I just want to thank you guys. So now, I know you mentioned about the Super Bowl, but just tell us a little bit about your experience in being in the league, the childhood dream, the workouts, and just the sitting in it, and in reality, like, yo, I'm putting on this Denver Bronco uniform, I'm putting on my socks, and the practice. Tell me a little about your experience being in the league and the thoughts you were thinking while you was there.
It was funny you asked that question. We Dade County boys, we ain't no groupies to nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what type of celebrity back in the days would come to Miami. We ain't kissing nobody behind. We ain't sweating nobody, none of that. Even the women, the dudes, whatever. The only one I seen, the Miami women, that disappointed me was when Mike Tyson came to Strawberries with the verbal Burt.
Strawberry days.
That hurt.
They were cut up about Mike Tyson.
They hurt me. All my Dade County women hurt me with that. I said, they G-code. They don't care about none of these celebrity dudes. When Iron Mike came to Strawberries, I saw them chasing the car. I was like, Lord have mercy. I said, no, come on, y'all sisters can't do that. Y'all G-code, come on, we raised y'all right. Yeah. But anyway, no, the great one experience that I had, first of all, to play with John Elway, who everybody knew and heard, that was number one. But the best story ever, my rookie year, I lined up in the backfield in practice after I got drafted, and he came over in free agency. And that was his last year, because he ended up getting hurt in training camp, and he ended up retiring as a Bronco. A lot of people don't know that. I looked to my right, and I forgot to play. I was blocking for him. It was Tony Dorsett. And for Tony Dorsett, I wore his shoes in Little League called Spot Built. I don't know if I don't know how old. I'm telling my age. He had a shoe in the league when he's for the Cowboys. It's called Spot Built. I wore his, remember Spot Built? So I wore his shoes. So I'm in the backfield, first play in camp. We in camp, OTAs. It wasn't OTAs back then. I look to my right. I say, I can't believe the guy I looked up to. I'm in the huddle with him. And number two, I'm in the backfield for the block for him. And he called me Big Buffet, because I love to cook all the time. Everybody would come to my place. Buffet, what you cooking today? You'll say like that. So Tony Dorsett, that was like a dream for me, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't no groupie at all, period. I don't see nobody. I don't care about none of that, you know what I'm saying? Even our mindset different in Dade County. We don't see nobody, but that one right there was an experience for me that I felt like, man, this is a dream come true. I'm here, I made it.
Yeah. Oh, go Herbert Hammond. That was one of my football mentors. Helped me learn the pattern tree.
That's my big bro. That's Ham.
Yeah,
bro.
Is he not a great mentor? And man, I mean, I couldn't learn the pattern tree and he helped me out, but he's always he's been coaching forever. He should be an agent.
Ham raised me, Coach Ham. That's my dude right there. Yeah. I love. Herb, what's up, family? How you doing, bro? Love you.
Yes, thank you, Herb. Yes, and when you mentioned Tony Dorsett, I thought about back in the days when they had those on Tony Dorsett's cleats
Spot
with a
built,
big flap on it.
spot built. That was called spot
Yeah,
built.
yeah, I remember those.
And we still friends today. Me and TD still friends today. That's my guy.
Okay, yeah, I remember his son made it to the league.
Yes,
The Raiders, I
Anthony.
believe, and the
Played at
Oilers,
Pitt.
something like that.
Yeah, DB. Yes, Anthony Dorsett.
So now, once you stop playing, and your playing days were over, what did you do immediately after you officially retired from the game?
Well, honestly, I wasn't ready to lead the game, but I was kind of forced because I thought the same mentally, but physically I wasn't that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I was blessed to have my degree. You know, I took when I was hurt in the ground, I was asking myself when I got hurt in that game, what I'm gonna do next. I was blessed to say, I got my degree in business management. So I had a plan B, to fall back on as far as having a degree on that ground to move forward. But that whole process, I was bitter with the game in a sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch it for that first year. I kind of stayed away from the TV. I wouldn't watch it because I was internally like distraught mentally, and I would say a form of depression. You know, saying I didn't. Back then, you tell us back in the '80s something about depressed. We don't know about depressed. But mental health is very strong now, and we went through it, but we're taught to push through it. You know, saying you soft. So and now, this is being brought to light right now as far as the mental aspect of it. And I respect it. A lot of people go through it, but we just press through it. But one of the things that I couldn't find my way. I was still lost. I was still just out there trying to figure it out. Didn't know what direction. So I end up, calling Dan Reeves after I had got cut from, I left at Denver and went to the Falcons for training camp. I got released by Jerry Glanville, and that's what made me stay in Atlanta. That's how I ended up staying in Atlanta. And I didn't want to go home because I didn't want to answer the question, man, what you doing now?
Yeah.
Why you ain't playing, or this, that. So I didn't want to go through that. So I kind of stayed, in the light in Atlanta and made Atlanta home. But what I did was, instead of, I had to pick myself up and shake myself off and say, look, let's get back in the game, and not necessarily on the field, but let's get behind on the side. So that's when I started my quest. I went to Dan Reeves, who blessed me on life twice, and asked him, I said, listen, I dabbled in the sports agency business for a minute. Lamar Thomas actually was my first client, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I had this lawyer guy in Miami. We formed a company, and Lamar Thomas and Hurley Brown was my first two kids, and I didn't have a clue what the heck I was doing. And I did his deal, not being licensed. His third round, he went third round in Tampa Bay, and I ended up doing Lamar's deal. He trusted me, and right then I knew in this business, if somebody trusts you, they believe in you, they'll rock with you. You know what I'm saying, like that. So Lamar was my first guy, blessed me. So I knew all the players. Had been an eye for talent coming from the West. We know talent. So I went to Dan Reed. I got to Dan Reeves. He had got a job in the Falcons as a head coach. And I said, Coach, listen, I would like to be coming to the personnel side to be able to evaluate players. I took a list of players who was in that upcoming draft. I wrote out reports on them, and I submitted it to him. And he looking like, how do you know all this? You know what I'm saying, like that. So I sent it to him, and he said, I'm gonna bring you in for an interview. He brought me in, and he gave me an opportunity. He said, listen, I got one spot. You got to move to the Northwest, and you got the Pac-10. It was a Pac-10 back then, not the Pac-12. So I say, Coach, I'm hungry. I want to get in. I want to learn the business. So I took the job, got blessed. Cortez Kennedy, God bless the dead, opened his home for me. I ended up staying with Cortez in Seattle. So I did, I'm a black dude. I'm in Boise, Montana, Bozeman, Montana, Nevada. I'm talking about ride way in those areas. But it gave me the culture, number one, to learn how others live in the Northwest, being from Florida. And it opened my mindset up too, as far as my vision. So I ended up, scouting for him for 2 years. Then I got blessed to be the director of pro personnel for the Washington Redskins. I ran five drafts. So now I done took the game from being on the field. Now I'm the guy in the room evaluating So that made me even more, my eye, and not being arrogant, keen to be able to see talent and identify it. Being from Dade County, we know talent, number
Yeah, we
one.
know talent.
So now I put all that together. And so now I became the director of pro personnel for the Washington Redskins under North Turner, did that, saying? So I got 5 years in, but I got frustrated because you only cap out as a minority to a certain spot. They don't want to see us in certain positions as far as being the general manager. So I said, I tell you what, since I was on a fast track to be a GM, and that was my goal, I said, I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make y'all pay for the knowledge that I know to identifying players. So that's when I jumped back on the agent side and started going recruiting guys and making the teams pay me for what y'all wouldn't pay me for over there.
Yeah.
I'm on the outside now, so y'all got to come see me as far as the talent. So that's how I became the sports agent, and that's how where I'm at today.
Yeah, and that was my next question, but you answered it. I'm happy because again, that our instincts to survive and overcome and make it and make what do you call it, lemonade out of lemons and stuff like that. You made that. You did what you did. They didn't want to give you that organization, so you made them pay the other way.
Exactly. One of the young ladies had, I guess, wrote in. She what was her name? She asked what I'm doing now. You was about to go into that. What was the young lady that called in, or she typed something in?
Yeah, she said her Nina Justice. She said
Nina.
Yeah, there she doing it. What are you doing? Oh, she was asking what you're doing now, and he just answered it. He's a professional sports agent. Yeah.
Tell Nina I tried to be a stripper, but it didn't work out. So yeah.
hey, them untouchable days.
Scrub the ground.
Hey, man, y'all don't even understand. And if you're wondering why you guys are watching this broadcast, you're wondering, like, a lot of times people see people from Miami as arrogant. You don't understand the level of success, drive, competition, and is organic, and our competitiveness is friendly. But so when we hear, we don't like for example, all of us, we done seen a million cats in the league because we grew up with them. And remember when you was mentioning Sammy, like he was a man beast as a child, and then we got more people we seen. It's just at the University of Miami. You got more people you've seen every day and dealt with other people in the parts of the country. They're like, oh my God, because they fascinated, but we see it all the time. And so we respect us and ourselves, and we don't get awed about anything.
Suave, I would love, you just hit something, and I've been wanting to do this for years. And if we can put this together, we can talk off record. But they're the unsung athletes that we know personally that was better than me that did not make it.
Yes.
Busta Rhymes, George Busta Rhymes. I looked up to George Busta Rhymes. He was a big back out of Miami Northwestern, went to Oklahoma. You got Mark Irvin, the best linebacker in the country. Ended up going to Bethune-Cookman, but he's a dog, as far as that. Yeah. It's so many. Tommy Streeter, that was way better, 5-star. So I would love to do a series of somehow pull that together. Where are they now? Segment of top high school kids, or they didn't make it. That was way better than the guys who made it on the field, but life dealt them a different hand. So I would love to kind of revisit that and just try to put that in motion.
Okay, Kenny Raw has a question. You go ahead and read it. You're reading your head, and you can answer it.
Boy, I got these glasses. I can't see that, man.
Okay, it says question from Melvin. Did you ever give the pipe back to Coach Howard back? Are you still having fun assuming that? Kenny Raw.
Hey, tell Kenny, I had an interview. I did a podcast with my boy Devin. Devin Lloyd. That's my guy. I love Devin, my dude. But I told Devin, had I known what I known, I'd have kept that pipe, and that would have been worth like a Michael Jordan jersey of some sort. But I ended up losing it, whatever it was. But yeah, he left the pipe at the crib. That was his way of like reminding me of who he was, like that. I took it to the school, took it to the West, and I'm walking through the hallways with the pipe in the hand. And they like, man, what you doing? I said, man, let's go Stellenberger, man. This is pipe, like that. He left at the crib. It's mine now. So I'm flaunting that, throughout the neighborhood. I got Stellenberger pipe. So that was the running joke about that.
Yes, but back to the unsung heroes. I could tell you, having the issues I had in Opelika. I remember we had to play Glenn Holt and them. I don't know if you remember, but it was like a 3 overtime South Dade versus North Miami that year. They was really good because I supposed to went to North Miami, but anyway,
you ended up at American. Where'd you go? American? Where'd you go to school?
Way down south.
Where?
Because I got kicked out of Westview, got kicked out of North Day, and we're gonna finish that.
All right. All right.
And so anyway, it's a particular kid. He was All American. I mean, all Dade County. Now check this out. In spring training, he was 4th string. How did he make all Dade County? Because you know why? The other 3 dudes quit. Because you remember back in them days, cats said, "Man, I'm making this money. I ain't playing." You know, or they had grades, or they just had attitudes.
Right.
And here it is. You made all Dade County, but you wasn't even 4th string. So it lets you know all these unsung heroes, a lot of great athletes, you know, back to back.
Who's the player?
Ricky Davis.
Ricky Davis. Davis. What? He was younger than me. Then it had to be.
Yeah, it was. Ricky Davis. It was him and Roman Nelson that led the county and run. See what I'm saying?
Right.
And this dude was, now he looked like the hero, but he wasn't even 4th string. Luckily, the other 3 quit. You know, so again, it's people have no idea all the people. Like, you remember how great Rabbit was back in the day?
Rabbit is one of the best athletes ever. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And he,
yes, and we look at his son.
Yeah, see, Antonio.
We from Miami, but they don't know who his father is, and we've seen Rabbit play. You know, he was out. He played, because I remember he played for us, and then he quit and went to Northwest Boys Club.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, they confused him with the other Eddie Brown, who is my brother, played at Miami High, and sitting at the Bengals. Played. Yeah. So,
they
but
yeah,
but
no,
they confused the two. Yeah. They confused the two. So.
Yeah, man. And so these are some other few more questions. Again, I want to tell you, I was always proud of you, man, the things you've done. And when I see the look in these kids' eyes and knowing that they're being taken care of, and how you are in the right place to help these young brothers know that, hey, do what I say, I got your back, just follow me, do the checklist, and I guarantee it works out for you. So share your story with this young kid who I think he came out of FAMU, about how that went.
Yeah, Marquise Bell. First off, I give all honor and praise to God, because it wasn't, my ministry, people always say you got to call in to be in the pulpit, you got to call in to do this, like that. And I've been, I ain't gonna say I've been running from it. My sister, Felicia Bratton, is my pastor, my baby sister. She follows you as well. So Pastor Fees, my girl, I love her. And between her and my mom, those prayer warriors kept me solid, because I done made a lot of mistakes in life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect by no means. And I done dabbled in different stuff that I had no business with, but I always kept it a straight and narrow. I always know where to come back, because I was covered in prayer. So God gave me this platform to sow back into these young men. This is my ministry. This is my ministry, not in the pulpit, but I'm out in these streets, you know what I'm saying, as far as taking these young brothers who want to listen and give them the script. Marquise had a situation. He's a 4-star out of Jersey, got kicked out of the University of Maryland, and then he ended up going to JUCO, and he had nowhere else to go. All the schools were kind of hesitant to take him because he had somebody over his head at the time, but it got resolved. So FAMU, the Rattler family, I love Lulu and all the boys, you know what I'm saying, as far as, the Rattlers family, they gave him opportunity to come and play at HBCU. And he talks about it. That was the best move that ever happened for him. So he went there. When I met him through young lady Benita Borkin, the Borkin family, you know what I'm saying, she called me. She said, I got a young man I want you to meet. I get calls all the time. You call me about your cousin. I get everybody. I get hit all the time. But I'll watch the tape and look at it. I'm not going to turn nobody down and never say no. But, I just tell them, hey, tell your cousin you need to go get a job. You're going to be a good father, take his kids to the daycare and make that work that way. But Marquise was special. When I looked at him on the Zoom, he and I, we did FaceTime. Before I met him in person, I said, let me look at you and I want to meet you looking in your eye. And I asked him what happened in the whole deal. He was very transparent, straightforward. In my spirit, I said, you know what? This kid is a good kid. I took the challenge on. I was on it for 2 years. I recruited for 2 years. And I told him everything I gave him week after week after week, he did it. So when he finished the last game and I saw the talent, you know what I'm saying, I said, this kid is going to be a star at the next level. And
okay, he'll be right there. It just sounds probably.
Yeah. Can you hear me now, Suave?
Yes, I got you.
Yeah. So when I got him after his last game, I came down to Fort Lauderdale, XBE. He trained with Tony Villani. So I said, listen, we weighed 187 pounds. So not knocking the black college, but he didn't have a meal plan. He didn't have all that stuff. So I put him in a situation where I gave him the script. So he's one of the top safeties. I said, listen, I don't want you to work out as a safety. I said, we know you can do that. I need you to play corner. And all these workouts and these drills, you get out with the best wide receivers in the country and you lock them down. I said, I need your mindset because you have to cover a Travis Kelce. You have to cover the stretch tight ends. So I need you to work outside. He got invited to the NFL PA game, and Terrence Matthews, a great wide receiver for the Falcons, is a receiver coach. T-Mac called me. He said, Mel B, your kid is the best corner we have. I started laughing. He said, what's wrong? I said, he's not a corner. He's a safety. He said, man, are you serious? I said, yes. But he followed that nugget I gave him. So now he puts on 215 pounds for 187 and still went 4.44 at the combine with the weight, and his whole body changed. So I gave him the script. I said, listen, you walk the script. I promise you, son, it's going to work itself out. I done been there, done it, saying like that. Not saying I know it all, but I'm giving him, saying the nuggets. The kids who want to listen, learn from my mistakes. Don't do what I did. Saying? That's why God put me in your life, because I done made the bonehead mistakes. I done hung the wrong crowds. I done did that stupid stuff. So now I'm trying to give you, they're going to step in potholes, but we got to limit the potholes that these kids are going to step in. And that's why I live for this. And I enjoy when I gave him that call, the Cowboys called me before he got the news that he made the active 53. And he's funny. He did not answer the phone for me or nobody for the whole entire training camp. I couldn't get him on the phone. He was just that locked in to make that team. And I admire him for it. But then when he came in for air, he slept the whole entire day on cut day. he said he didn't want to deal with all that pressure, so he slept the whole entire day. And then I called him. I said, congratulations, you're on the active 53 as a free agent and a black college kid to make it. Man, when I tell you, it's not about the money for me. When it becomes about the money, I'm getting out this business. This is a passion for me. So I was called to do this. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy the reap the benefits, but this is a passion. And it's not about a dollar for me. So when it becomes a business, I'm stepping out the game because right now it's a passion.
You know what? For those who know me, I'm an emotional person. I don't like to get emotional on the air, but people don't understand, man. God gives us talents. And when you can make a connection with the gift that God gave you and understand it's your passion, and you do it with all your heart, your might, your soul, and it's evident because a lot of times there's a generational gap, and we have to try to bond that because I know sometimes I get frustrated when we're trying to tell our younger generation things, and sometimes they're oppositional. But for the younger generation who are listening, we're never doing anything to hurt you. We experience certain things, just like we're being 30 years their senior, 3 decades. So we've seen a lot. And so when you're trying to tell them, just follow the recipe, and it works out. And it's just great because you're operating in your ministry. Again, you said it wasn't about the money. And it's very gratifying to see you told this kid what to do. He did it. He was locked in, and it happened. His dream came true. And you need more people like you in this profession. It's a business, but you still need more people like you.
It's a rough battle. One of my players, all y'all Dolphins that's listening in, Brandon Shell, the big lineman who just signed today, that's my kid. Art Shell's, a great Art Shell's great nephew. And he just signed with the Dolphins today, and it's all across the news in Miami right now. He had retired. He was frustrated 6 years in.
Yeah.
So Chris Greer, the GM, called me yesterday, and his approach to the whole situation, I know Chris Greer very well. So he said, listen, I want to bring the kid in, whatever. So Brandon had mentally checked out and retired. So I called him and said, listen, the Dolphins want to bring you in, and I think it's a good situation, to get back on the field and if you get 2 more years, you in Miami, which you love. That's my hometown, and whatever you need, he loved Miami anyway. So it worked out. Really. So yeah. So Brandon Shell is the right tackle that's coming to the Dolphins today. He signed today.
Okay. So, you were saying that it's not about the money, but I do have a question for you. If another opportunity presented itself for you to be a general manager, would you take advantage of that?
It would have to
Nice
be,
package too.
yeah. Well, got to bring that check. You got to bring that check.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I've been asked. Everybody asks why would I coach college? I've been offered to come in and do this or do that to get back in the game. I've birthed a lot of guys. I just did this.
Yes.
I did a write up the other day on Inside the League and about being a former scout and the camaraderie of being around the players and the scouts. And asked me would I go back in. It's going to be very hard for me because I know the mindset of, and not knocking all the owners. I'm not saying
Yeah.
saying anything negative about them, but they don't know the talent pool of minorities. They're not exposed, but somebody's now trying to put a group together. What I want to do, and I'm really probably a couple of months away from doing it. I want to have a minority agency for coaches and minority scouts to be the voice for them to be able to introduce them to the owners to let them know that just because I'm not signed to that agency, they're going to hire everybody that they represent because they're getting residual income off of it, which is smart. I'm not hating on a model,
Hmm.
but the brothers don't get an opportunity to be in that elite group in a sense. So that's why you never see them. For the Dolphins to do what they did to bring Pat Surtain from American Heritage, okay, who played at the Dolphins, and Sam Madison to bring Sam Madison and get up on the field. That right there speaks volume about Chris Greer. That speaks volume about the head coach. It's just that right there. I was happy, saying, to see that they gave these brothers opportunities to be able to come in. Wells Welker, he gonna get the favorite regardless. Now, not being racist, but he has the right skin color, so he's going to get that look. But to see Pat and also Sam, who are great brothers, been community love them, everybody love them. To
Hmm.
see them get the opportunity to go there from a high school, you hear these stories about the Belichick's of the world, the Brian Billicks of the world, who worked in the front office as a security guard and got in that way. It's a blessing. So what I want to do is put that agency. I'm going into that probably in the top of the year. I want to have a platform for the minorities and be the voice to speak, to have the agency set up where the minority scouts and the brothers be able to get a true opportunity to be able to be head coaches and also scouts and general manager
Oh,
for teams.
great. Yeah. Since this is my broadcast, I try to sneak something in every now and then. But if you ever want to bring some, look at Freddie J said that's excellent. And another thing, if you want to bring some Black life coaches and therapists on there to help the youngins, there's not that many of us Black males in the business. So, hello.
Suave is needed. Suave, you know what? I'm glad God put us together on this podcast like that. I knew you was a mover and a shaker and doing your things. I'm glad you gave me that because it's so needed. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not just the agent. I talk to my players at least twice a week. A lot of them go through stuff. They're millionaires. I cuss them out just like I talk to, in my kids and the whole deal. I get in their behind and I hang the phone up on them. I just like let them know when they doing this bonehead stuff. They do different purchases. I done been there. I done been broke before. You know what I'm saying? I done struggled
Mhm.
before. So I'm giving them the script, you know what I'm saying, to not make those same mistakes that I made to
Yeah.
do this, you know what I'm saying, as an athlete. So I'm constantly saying in there behind, and I tell them 100, you know what I'm saying, like that. So I have no way, but they need brothers like yourself because a lot of them. I had a kid that I didn't. I went at this kid, and he told me he couldn't trust me. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Where I'm from." He's from a rural area from Alabama. He said
Mhm.
he never seen a successful black man in his life.
Yeah.
If I tell you the name, who it is,
You don't have
you
to.
you're gonna be blown away. I'm not gonna do it, but
Oh, yeah.
he told me, he verbatim said, "Man, Mel, no disrespect. I never seen a successful black man where I'm from.
Yeah.
I'm not used to this." And
Yeah.
that blew me away.
Well, it happens. One of the things that I take pride in is that, like, when I tell a lot of people in our professions, not that many Black males in this profession, but also we don't ever. I don't only just provide that mental health component. I don't only provide that coaching, but I provide that mentoring. And a lot of times they, like you say, they don't identify. They want to feel somebody. They live their life vicariously through seeing people as entertainers or professional athletes, but being able to be that real person. Say, bruh, I navigated through this, and I was able. Remember how I was telling you off the scene, how do we navigate through leaving the field? How do we navigate from leaving
Right.
the court? And so sometimes our kids have issues. They may be having financial success, they may have professional success, but they're still dealing with some internal things, and that can hurt them professionally. So yes, I'm your guy. So
appreciate that.
I want to tell you, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Man, I'm happy. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you, man.
I love you too, bro.
And
that's another thing. Hold on, before you go off, that's another thing that we don't do, that I do, to make sure. And by you just saying what you just did right there, I respect you and I love you too. Black men don't tell other black men they love them because they think it's it's a form of just being gay. It's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I make my clients, they a little uncomfortable. They never hear black men tell each other they love them. They feel like they get uncomfortable. So the second or third time, I love you too, Unc. They'll call me Unc or OG or whatever. So keep that. What you just did right there.
Yeah,
I love you back. We can do this because it ain't about being homosexual, not being No, it's love, black love, and black men don't hear that from men. So we got to break that whole psyche right there.
You go, our mentor, both our mentor, we go Ham. He said, Suave, I admire you for doing that, and I support you. And Mel is the perfect guy to open up with. Yeah, and the thing is, we can say it and don't have to put a disclaimer saying no homo. We already know I love. We don't have to sit there and say to justify why I love a person.
Fact.
Facts. And I'm glad we were able to say it, and it's perfect timing because this is what I do naturally. But again, man, thank you so much. I'm happy that you was able to come and share the knowledge, your experience, man. This was, again, ladies and gentlemen, this was another episode of Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. And just always remember, great minds reach great places. I love you. I mean it. Bye-bye. And stay on, and we'll be doing after show.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brandy the Disconnector, wife, show host, entrepreneur, investor, and ICS certified life coach, here to tell you that I'm on NPNTv, the network that is by us and for us. Lock in and let's get it.
Tune in and stream live now. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, is now being broadcast on NPN Voice. NPN Voice can be found on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and now on Audible and Amazon Music, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, now on NPN Voice. NPN Voice. Got voice. You heard? Programs like this are made possible by Neighborhood Planet Broadcasting Systems, Neighborhood Planet Network, iBlister Digital Media Creative, and from contributions to NPNTv from viewers like you. Thank you.